Hi everyone and welcome back for another video. I know I haven't been around for quite some time, or I haven't uploaded a video for quite some time, and the reason is I have been in Ghana. So I've been there, I was there for 2 weeks, end of November through to middle of December. Had an absolute blast. I had an amazing time. I've got a video that, you know, sort of captures all of our pictures and, you know, moments that I thought were memorable on the holiday. So we stayed in a hotel in East Legon in Trasacco Valley. I later discovered that Trasacco Valley is quite an exclusive neighbourhood. You know, and you can tell there's quite a lot of people with very, very large houses, and obviously they just look fabulous. The most memorable things I would say about being in Ghana were, you know, visiting my family and seeing my grandma, and I met one of my aunts for the first time, and her children, and also just understanding the contrast between the rich and the poor. I'm sort of a bit of maybe a left-wing socialist at heart, and I think some of the extreme ends of wealth in Ghana versus the extreme ends of poverty are probably things that I've never seen in England, and I confess to being a very, very ignorant Ghanaian. You know, as I was growing up, I was sort of raised, you know, to sort of assimilate into British society rather than, you know, sort of be a Ghanaian. And, you know, as I mentioned in my previous video, this is the first time I'd ever been back. So it was a real sort of surprise to me. But when I arrived, I really didn't feel anything, if I'm entirely honest. I almost felt a sense of detachment, because I was sort of looking at it from the outside in, even though I am a Ghanaian. So I should have been looking at it from the inside out perspective, but I wasn't. I was looking at it as a foreigner, which in theory I guess I am or was. Yeah, so we had some fantastic times. I caught up with one of my friends who used to live in England. I met one of my dad's friends. I couldn't believe it when she said that I work for your dad's friend. I was like, what? Really? Who? And, you know, when she mentioned his name, and I was still like, I really don't know who this person is. And then when I went to meet him, he was like, you know, I used to carry you as a child, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And it was only when I came home and I looked through my very old pictures that I saw photos of me and him together. And I was like, oh my God, all this time my brain just couldn't connect that you were the same person I saw in the pictures. But we just had a blast. We went to a number of places. We went to Independence Square, Independence Arch. We went to Cocoa Beach. Though there's not that much, it's not really a touristy beach, I would say, even though it's in, like, you know, the Independence Square area or Independence Arch area. It's surprisingly not very touristy. Then we went to Kakum Park. We went to Makola Market, which was an experience. We went to Cultural Centre, and that was even more of an experience, because when we arrived, we went there twice. The first time we went there, we were sort of mobbed by, you know, people trying to get us to buy stuff. And then on the second occasion we went, it was a lot calmer. So I don't know what the deal was on the first day, but the second time we went, it was a lot calmer, and it was a much more pleasant experience. Then we went to Shai Hills Resource Reserve. We went to Aburi. We went to Kokobite Beach. Oh, we went to Big Ada. Oh, a story about Big Ada. When we arrived there was this particular hotel. When I remember, because I can't remember right now. When I remember, I'll post which hotel it was. But anyway, when we arrived, we didn't really know too much about what was happening in Big Ada, because I think I sort of read it on the internet, and it sort of suggested that, you know, there was lots of possibly boating activities that you could participate in. Anyway, so and then at the hotel the internet went down, so we weren't able to double check what the information was that I originally read. So we sort of took a trip, you know, with our taxi driver down there. And we met this woman, and we asked your woman who was running this hotel, and we asked her how much it was to get on the boat to, you know, sort of go across the Volta River towards, you know, one of these sort of islands that was off that particular place. And you could just see the malevolence in her face, that she was determined to rip us off basically. And every time we asked her how much is it going to cost for us to go on the boat across, she was like, oh no, don't worry about it, you just go and you know, you have a good time and blah 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 blah. And you know, and you could just sort of see her sizing you up, you know, just trying to decide just how much your tolerance level for being ripped off would be. Anyway, so we had a fantastic time. We got on the boat, went across, and you know, you'll see it in the video. We went across, you know, to this sort of island that they were preparing to make it into a more touristy sort of environment, you know, with a bar and, you know, restaurant and all that sort of stuff. And we sat there and, you know, we had a fantastic time. We were just chatting and everything. And we came back and we asked the woman how much it was for us to go across. And meanwhile, we discussed in the car how much we were prepared to pay her. So we said, okay, we'll pay her 30 cedis. And so Ross said to her, Ross, my partner, said to her, we'll give you 30 cedis. And she was like, no, I want you to give me 50. And I don't want to talk about it anymore. You know what? We just paid her the money because we were like, you know, I'm not going to sit there and argue with you. So we paid her 50 cedis for essentially what was like a 10-minute boat ride, and sat on a beach that actually had nothing to do other than just sit on a beach. But, you know, that was sort of like one of these slight down, well, less favourable moments, I guess, in our holiday. But, you know, it was such a minor thing. But still, I would, you know, I'll post the link so that you make sure that you just don't come across that woman. Or at least, if you are prepared, at least you're prepared if you do come across that woman. But anyway, that was really good. And where else? Oh, we went to so many places. I just can't even remember them all. But we had a great time. And I got engaged. Bling bling all in your face. Yeah, check it out. Check out my bling. Bling bling bling. Yeah, so I got engaged to my wonderful partner. Love you, honey. Mwah. And he proposed to me at the top at Aburi. So I went to the top of Aburi, and as you're driving along up the mountains in the night, and you know, you can sort of you can see the entire city, you know, at night, and the sky was really clear. And you know, he said, he sort of held me, you know, for the longest time, didn't say anything, and then he was like, I've loved you since the moment I met you. And that was it. I mean, even though I knew what was coming, that was it. I just burst into tears. I didn't even hear what he was saying. Everything else was just a blur. I was just like, oh, you know, doing my ugly cry. Not even like, you know, one of those silent, you know, cries where, you know, you get like one tear going down your cheek and, you know, you're looking really sort of poised, but, you know, deeply upset. Anyway, so, and then, you know, when I opened my eyes after, you know, buckets of tears, you know, he was on his knees and he was like, you know, will you marry me? I was like, yes, of course I will. And then we popped some champagne, and that was great. And, you know, yes, that was brilliant. I don't know where we're going to get married. That's up for discussion. So whether we're going to get married in Ghana or whether we'll do it in England, I don't know. Yeah, when we arrived at the airport, his parents were waiting for us, and I was really, really touched because I couldn't believe that, you know, they were there, you know, that they went out of their way to meet us at the airport, and you know, congratulated us with a bottle of champagne. So that was really, really nice. Yeah, so anyway, that was my holiday. Hair wise, well, I went there with natural hair, so I did a lot of braid outs. But when I went to see my aunt, she was like, why have you done your hair like that? And I was like, because I like it like that. And she was like, but you look like you're mad. So from what I could gather, it's actually, I didn't see anyone with natural hair. In fact, I saw one girl with natural hair. I wanted to stop her, but I was in the car to sort of ask her a question about, you know, her natural hair. But anyway, very few women wear their natural hair, and actually most of the girls that have natural hair usually have it because the girls have to shave their heads, and you'll probably see it in the subsequent video, because the idea is that they don't want the girls to be running around after boys, or rather, no, not running around, but they don't want the girls to either take too much interest in their hair and not read, you know, and study, or they don't want the girls to be sort of attractive to the boys. You know, there was two sort of explanations that I got about that. So, you know, with my aunt sort of saying to me that I look like a mad person, I did carry this wig for contingency because I sort of suspected that this might be the case. So I carried this wig and I was wearing it, you know, because I figured, well, you don't want people to think that you're sort of not, I don't know, like, like a street girl. You know, I know that sounds terrible, but I think that's probably the perception that they would have had of me, that, you know, there was something wrong with me. Like, you know, I think the idea is that if you're coming from Europe, you know, you should have money to be able to make your hair look fantastic, and, you know, you should be wearing fake hair, or, you know, if you have relaxed hair, it should be like, you know, it should be the bomb, you know, not to have natural hair. So on products wise, I didn't get any products. I wasn't even thinking about hair, to be honest, throughout the entire holiday. That wasn't really one of the reasons I went at all, actually. So the only incident with hair was, you know, this wig, and obviously the issue with my aunt telling me that I looked like a mad person with my natural hair. So and everyone there has relaxed hair. They either have relaxed hair or they have weaves. Especially the younger girls, especially the ones that are sort of more up with the sort of fashion. Tend to have either some sort of weave or braided extensions, but most people seem to have relaxed hair. Even people who, you'll see a lot of women with carrying things on their head, selling things, usually water or something, usually some sort of food. Even they have relaxed hair, you know, and I'm just like, that's pretty amazing, considering, you know, you're carrying something on your head and really having a relaxer doesn't really sort of gel with that type of work. But anyway, yeah. And then, oh yeah, speaking of you know, sort of you know, people selling things on their head, and again back to the contrast between the rich and the poor, is you know, there was this hotel called the African Regent, and it's a very exclusive hotel. And so we went in there, we asked how much a room was, and the hotel manager told us it was 900 cedis per night. 900 cedis per night. No, sorry, that's even wrong. 900 US dollars. I even got that wrong. 900 US dollars per night. Can you imagine? What in the hell? Ah. You want me to give you 900 US dollars, huh? It can never happen. So I was really shocked by that. And then right outside the hotel, you'll see people selling stuff on their head, you know. But you know what? Aside from that, I had a blast. You know, there was so many positive things. You know, I just have to sort of talk about, you know, things that, and I would in any holiday, things that just didn't necessarily gel with my understanding, especially, you know, considering I haven't been there since I was 3. But yeah, oh, one of the other things I really want to do is to learn how to speak Tree, because while I was there, people were talking and conversing around me and assuming that I knew what they were saying, and I was like, no, not really. So I really have to learn Tree, and I must make sure that my mom teaches me, learns me Tree. Oh God, no, I didn't go to school, obviously. Yeah, so I must make sure that my mom teaches me, and I am going back. And you know, since I've been back, I felt like I found me again. In fact, well, maybe I was always missing me, but I think I found me. I found who I am and what I want to do with my life going forward. Because I always felt something just wasn't quite right. Something was missing, and now I think I've resolved that issue, and I will let you know once I've got everything sort of set up and running. But yeah, I had a fantastic time. And obviously the icing on the cake was my ring, my engagement, getting married to my partner. Love you, baby. So yeah, so I just had a blast. But I'm definitely going back, and I will update you on any further news. Hair wise, I'll do another video on that. But other than that, hope to see you for the next video. Bye!